Summary of the Lean Startup by Ries. Ries The Lean Startup is a groundbreaking book that revolutionized the way entrepreneurs, startups, and even large corporations think about innovation, product development, and business growth. Drawing from his own experiences as a startup founder and lessons from the lean manufacturing movement pioneered by Toyota, Ries introduces a framework that emphasizes experimentation, validated learning, and iterative product development. The book is a must-read for anyone looking to build a sustainable and innovative business in an uncertain and fast-changing world. Introduction. What is a lean startup? At its core, the lean startup methodology is about building a business in conditions of extreme uncertainty. Ries defines a startup as a human institution designed to create a new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. Unlike traditional business models, where the emphasis is on developing a perfect product or business plan before launch, the lean startup approach embraces the idea that entrepreneurs don't know all the answers up front. Instead, they learn through experimentation and customer feedback. The lean startup is built upon three key principles. Build, measure, learn feedback loop. The process of creating a product, measuring how customers respond, and learning whether to pivot or persevere. Validated learning. Testing hypotheses about your business idea and using data to make informed decisions. Minimum viable product, MVP, creating the simplest version of your product that allows you to collect meaningful feedback from customers. Part 1. Vision. Start. Ries begins by challenging the traditional notions of entrepreneurship. He emphasizes that startups operate in conditions of uncertainty, and therefore, the traditional approach of writing detailed business plans and executing them rigidly is flawed. Instead, startups must focus on learning what customers truly want. He introduces the concept of validated learning, where entrepreneurs test their assumptions and gather empirical data to refine their ideas. This approach ensures that businesses don't waste time and resources on products that no one wants. Define. A critical step for any startup is defining what success looks like. Ries introduces the concept of the innovation accounting framework, which focuses on metrics that truly matter rather than vanity metrics like website visits or social media likes. Startups should measure progress in terms of learning and customer value, not just revenue growth or market share. Part 2. Steer. Build, measure, learn feedback loop. The build, measure, learn feedback loop is the heart of the lean startup methodology. It's an iterative process where startups develop a minimum viable product MVP. Measure. Collect data on how customers interact with the MVP. Learn. Analyze the data to decide whether to pivot or persevere. The goal of the loop is to minimize the time it takes to test an idea and learn from it. The faster a startup can go through this loop, the faster it can achieve product market fit. Minimum viable product MVP. The MVP is one of the most important concepts in the lean startup. It's the simplest version of a product that allows you to gather validated learning about customers with the least effort. Ries cautions against over-engineering or spending too much time perfecting a product before launch. The MVP is not about creating a bad product, but about focusing on the core value proposition and learning whether it resonates with customers. For example, Dropbox started with a simple video demonstrating its product concept. This allowed the company to gauge interest before building the full product. Pivot or persevere. After going through the build, measure, learn loop, startups must make a critical decision. Should they pivot, change direction based on feedback, or persevere, continue improving the current product? A pivot doesn't mean failure. It's an opportunity to apply what you've learned to a new hypothesis. Ries provides examples of companies like Groupon, which started as a social activism platform before pivoting to become a deals website. Part 3. Accelerate. Batching and continuous deployment. Traditional product development often relies on large batches where teams work on many features or aspects of a product at once. However, Ries advocates for small batches, which allow startups to iterate faster and gather feedback more quickly. By working in small increments, startups reduce waste and adapt to customer needs in real time. Continuous deployment is another key idea. Instead of waiting months or years to release a polished product, startups should release incremental updates frequently. This approach allows for constant improvement and responsiveness. Innovation accounting. Rise revisits the concept of innovation accounting, which is about measuring progress in a meaningful way. Startups should focus on actionable metrics that demonstrate customer behavior and engagement, rather than vanity metrics that offer little insight. For example, instead of tracking total downloads, a startup could measure how many users actively engage with the product over time. Lean thinking in larger organizations. While the lean startup methodology is often associated with small companies, Rise argues that its principles can be applied to larger organizations as well. In fact, many large corporations struggle with innovation because they operate like bureaucracies. By adopting lean practices, they can become more agile and innovative. Key takeaways from the lean startup. Validated learning. The main goal of a startup is not to build a product, but to learn what customers want. Build, measure, learn loop. Iterative cycles of experimentation and feedback are the fastest way to achieve product-market fit. Minimum viable product. Start small with the simplest version of your product to test assumptions and gather feedback. Pivot or persevere. Be flexible and willing to change direction based on what you learn. Actionable metrics. Focus on meaningful metrics that drive decision-making rather than vanity metrics. Continuous improvement. Use small batches and frequent releases to stay responsive to customer needs. Analysis and commentary. Ries The Lean Startup is a practical and empowering guide for entrepreneurs. It demystifies the process of innovation and provides actionable steps for building a sustainable business. The emphasis on learning and adaptation is particularly relevant in today's fast-paced world, where customer preferences and market conditions change rapidly. One of the book's strengths is its use of real-world examples. Rise shares stories of startups like Dropbox, Groupon, and IMVU, as well as lessons from larger companies like Toyota. These case studies make the concepts tangible and relatable. However, some critics argue that the lean startup approach may not be suitable for all industries. For example, in highly regulated fields like healthcare or aerospace, the iterative process may be more challenging to implement. Nonetheless, the principles of experimentation and customer focus are universally valuable. Suggestions for entrepreneurs. Start small. Don't wait for the perfect product. Launch your MVP and start gathering feedback immediately. Embrace failure. Treat failures as opportunities to learn and improve. Talk to customers. Get out of the building and interact with your target audience to understand their needs. Focus on data. Use metrics to guide your decisions rather than relying on intuition or assumptions. Books similar to The Lean Startup. 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel explores how to build truly innovative companies that create entirely new markets. The Startup Owner's Manual by Steve Blank. A comprehensive guide to building a startup with a focus on customer development. Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore discusses how to take new products from early adopters to the mainstream market. Blue Ocean Strategy by W. Chan Kim and Renee Mauborn. A guide to creating uncontested market space and making the competition irrelevant. Measure What Matters by John Doerr focuses on setting goals and measuring progress using the OKR framework. Conclusion. The Lean Startup is more than just a book, it's a mindset. It challenges entrepreneurs to rethink traditional approaches to business and embrace uncertainty as an opportunity for growth. By focusing on learning, experimentation, and customer feedback, you can build a product that truly resonates with your audience and create a sustainable business in the process. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a leader in a large organization, this book provides invaluable insights that can transform the way you think about innovation.